Saginaw County, Michigan, and as surprising as it sounds, with the way U.S. elections work, smaller places like this, swing counties in swing states, can be crucial to deciding who wins U.S. presidential elections. And Saginaw County tends to swing back and forth a lot. It was one of the few places in Michigan Democrats managed to flip in 2020, helping them win the entire state and take back the White House.
So both sides are fighting hard for it, with recent visits from Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Now we've come to this battleground within a battleground to find out where these highly sought voters are leaning as November fast approaches.
These MAGA voters, God bless you. I don't understand you. I don't agree with you.
Kamala Harris, I just shudder to think if they're our president.
There's good, there's bad, and there's worse, and there's way worse.
It's a cluster F. Can I say that?
Saginaw has faced the same economic hardship that's plagued the rest of the American Rust Belt, and its scars are everywhere. A once bustling auto manufacturing industry collapsed decades ago, pushing tens of thousands to leave. Now, so much sits abandoned and neglected.
People are unsure of their futures. They're unsure of the economy. They're unsure of their job security. Welcome, sir. We gonna get started in a minute. I'm glad y'all came.
Hurley Coleman is a prominent community leader in the city of Saginaw. A lifelong and proud Democrat, the White House invited him to meet privately with Biden during that March visit.
I get a call from the White House, and they calling me on my phone. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this Hurley Coleman? I'm like, this is Hurley.
Hurley says he described what life is like for the 18% of households here living in poverty.
We talked about how the people in our community are wanting to trust that their government is going to take care of them. But right now they were unsure because of what's happening with our economies.
Have you seen support for the Democrats sort of slipping here as a result of the economy?
I have, and I think it slipped in a place called undecided. And we've had so many people who are leery about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They don't know which way they want to go.
Saginaw County has often been described as a microcosm of the U.S. Party support here is largely split along geographic lines between the city, home to a majority Black population more likely to vote Democrat, and predominantly white and Republican rural farmland.
2 Trump signs on this lawn right here. I'm sure we'll see some more of those.
But no voting bloc is a monolith, and at this outdoor concert in this part of the county, we find at least some opinions are still swinging back and forth.
I'm in the middle of the road. I go this way and I go this way, and it all depends on the issues.
Others on both sides are more dug in.
What are the big issues for you in this election?
Definitely women's rights, reproductive rights, women's health care.
And there has been some concern about whether Kamala Harris would do as well in the Rust Belt as Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about her chances here?
I think her chances are pretty good. I do.
She has improved herself to me in the last 3.5 or almost 4 years. Our border is terrible. It's terrible.
They've had 4 years to prove themselves, and they haven't done it.
Saginaw's divides are deeply rooted in its history of boom and bust.
So downstairs has all of our foundational history.
Jennifer Vanette is a historian who works at Saginaw's Castle Museum.
They tried different things, but the thing that sticks is the automotive industry.
The auto days would change everything here. The city's population boomed, hitting about 100,000 people.
We had part of the Great Migration process of African Americans moving up from the South looking for better conditions. And as more Black people moved, more of the European descent immigrants who had come a generation before start moving up economically and move out of those spaces. And that begins this segregation process that I think Saginaw still is facing and looking at today. By the 1970s, we start to see those first indications of deindustrialization that so many industrial towns faced during that same period. We're, in a lot of ways, very reflective of all of those larger trends.
Saginaw reflects a larger trend of this election, too, that there's a lot of tension. At this popular diner, it's hard to get anyone to talk to us about the election.
I don't want, no, I'm not doing that.
But when they do, we hear the same thing over and over.
I knew Republicans that I called friends, and vice versa. And we could talk, we could discuss, we can agree to disagree. But now, you know, it has become so polarizing. It is so us against them.
You're either a Democrat or a Republican. You're not an American anymore. And that, to me, is so wrong, you know.
Why do you think it's become like that?
It's the politicians.
And here, where people from across the county come to eat, it's obvious just how tight this race is.
Trump has a problem, more than one problems. I don't know. I don't agree with Trump much.
I would vote probably to bring Trump back, and I'm a Republican because of the different things that have happened while he was president.
While opinions here are divided, it seems everyone and everything was touched by the downfall of the auto industry. Countless abandoned houses line once lively residential streets.
Would there have been a house in this field?
Absolutely, there would have been a house there. There would have been a house here.
We meet up with Hurley Coleman again to see a neighborhood close to his community center.
Yeah, so, you know, when the GM plants all started to close, they couldn't keep their home. They had to let them go. And many of the homes, they just didn't keep up with them. And
you see that a bit there.
Yeah, this is a good example. You gotta have this example all around the city in different places.
Do you feel like people will give Kamala Harris a chance when they are in such a bad economic position?
I think people will give her a chance. They want to believe in somebody who can help them. Is that a spot up there? Yep, it is.
But minutes later, just down the street, we meet Duncan McCormick.
President Trump, he's a businessman. I believe he's better for our country and making sure we come number one. We are number one. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it.
To win places like Saginaw, both parties will have to appeal to voters who don't have strong opinions yet and convince them to turn out.
I'm stuck in the middle again. It's like, come on.
That's a tough place to be.
Hannah McLean and her friend Ricky Orozco fall in that category.
I'm kind of leaning towards more Kamala, but at the same time, I gotta do my research. Both my parents are Trump supporters, and they're like, you better vote for him. And I'm like, okay, now you're sounding like him.
Do you see like this is an important election coming up?
I do, 100%. Just with the way everything's going, the inflation rates and all that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, it's a big decision.
The Rust Belt will be key to whoever wins in November, but voters here know no president can solve all their problems.
You know, we talk about Joe Biden coming, Donald Trump came, Hillary Clinton wrote about Saginaw in her memoir saying maybe she should have come here more. What's it like living in such an important place?
Saginaw County is like a melting pot. It's filled with all types of people, but we all are working class, hard-working citizens who are trying to make this place better. And I think this county represents what America really looks like.